The Tucson has been redesigned from the ground up, rather than being a development of the ix35. In terms of ride comfort, the Tucson is a step up from its predecessor and offers supple suspension that can easily deal with potholes and nasty road imperfections. It's quiet, too, even in the most powerful 2.0-liter diesel 4WD model. Engine noise rarely enters the cabin and it's a hushed place to be when cruising on the motorway. Despite the soft suspension, body roll is good. There's no unpleasant leaning through fast corners, thanks to the excellent body control. The automatic gearboxes are all new dual-clutch transmissions, and while they're great for driving and give a more relaxed feel, we'd suggest sticking with the manual gearbox, which is cheaper and very smooth to operate. For most people, the Tucson will be more than adequate to drive, but for those who like their SUVs to be especially sporty behind the wheel, the Tucson falls short. The Sitka and Mazda CX-5, for example, are far more pleasurable and exciting to drive. In fast bends, the Tucson steering doesn't give you much feedback on what the front wheels are doing. It is accurate, though, and on SE models or higher the flex steer system weights up the steering at speed. But it doesn't help to deliver any more feel. For this type of car, the QD diesel engines are the ones to go for. The 1.7-liter diesel is the same engine that was available in the Hyundai X35, but it has been tweaked to make it more fuel efficient. It's not the most powerful engine in the range with only 117 bhp, but it's up to the job and delivers adequate performance for a family of 5. The punchy 182 bhp 2.0-liter QD is all new and very smooth for a diesel engine. It can also be had with a new automatic gearbox, which makes it very relaxing to drive on longer journeys. The engine has far superior towing and off-road ability, as four-wheel drive is available, too. The only issue is that the 2.0-liter only comes in conjunction with top-spec models, so can be a costly option. If petrol engines are the choice for you, Hyundai has two 1.6-liter options, although we wouldn't advise buying either. They're both quieter to drive than the diesels, but they don't produce enough torque, so you really have to keep your foot down to make any sort of progress. The result is poor fuel economy and a less relaxed drive. All new engines make Tucson cheaper to run, but the high CO2 petrol models are best avoided. The Tucson is available with a number of engines and gearboxes and is designed to offer competitive running costs. The most popular combination will likely be the 1.7-liter diesel mated to a 6-speed manual gearbox that returns 61.7 miles per gallon and emits 119 grams/km. For some buyers, the extra grunt from the 2.0-liter QD diesel will be more desirable, and it'll still return 59 miles per gallon and 127 grams/km of CO2 in 2WD form. Compared to the diesels, the 1.6-liter TEGDA turbo petrol looks uncompetitive with CO2 emissions figures of over 170 grams/km. Hyundais are no longer the cheap cars they used to be, so the new Tucson's on-the-road price can look steep compared to those of the old X35 model. However, Hyundais now have much stronger residuals and you won't need to splash out on expensive options because Hyundai expects you to move up a trim level to get more kit. Depreciation. Prices start from around £18,700 and rise to nearly £32,500 for the top-of-the-range Tucson models. Over the course of 3 years and 60,000 miles, the Tucson will retain around 42% of its original value. That's a very competitive figure in its class, meaning the Tucson will hold more of its value when you come to sell than rivals like the Nissan Qashqai. Insurance groups. Comparable in price to its rivals, the Tucson also boasts relatively low insurance groups that start from Group 15 and rise to Group 25. This should help keep premiums lower than you'd get in most mainstream rivals. Functional and clean design outside, if lacking a little flair inside. Hyundai has styled the Tucson to look like a mini Santa Fe, and that is no bad thing as the larger SUV is a very handsome car. This is particularly evident at the front, where the Tucson has a chrome bar grille that links up to headlights that sweep back onto the front wings. Squared-off wheel arches and a Z-shaped shoulder crease down the car's flanks are designed to give the impression the Tucson is moving while it's stationary. The rounded rear end is smart, while the rear light clusters have a similar look to some of Hyundai's other models, such as the i20 Super Mini. The overall look is a far cry from the bulbous ix35, and the Tucson is easily one of the best-looking small SUVs on the market. Inside, the ix35's haphazard dashboard layout has been replaced with something that's far neater and more ordered, and is inspired by the i20 Super Mini. Interior quality has taken a big step forward too, with the overall fit and finish easily rivaling anything with the Volkswagen badge. Easy to read dials, the extensive use of squidgy soft touch plastics and a first-rate infotainment system are particular highlights, but despite these gains in quality, the interior has an air of blandness. The Nissan Qashqai and Renault Kadjar have dashboards that are more interesting to look at. The 513-liter boot on the Tucson is 83 liters larger than the Qashqai's capacity, while with the rear seats folded flat space increases to 1,503 liters. If you go for the Tucson 4x4, capacity is affected slightly to accommodate the additional drive system beneath the rear seats. Boot space decreases slightly to 488 liters with all 5 seats in place and 1,478 liters with the rear seats folded.